Hey, this is Linda Brooks Johnson with the Time Well Spent. And if you really want to learn how to level up your life, you should be listening to the Time to Shine Today podcast with my friend, Scott Ferguson. Make it a great day and a blessed day.
Hey, time to shine today podcast varsity squad. It's Scott Ferguson, and I am so blessed to be able to bring you my interview with Miss Linda Brooks Johnson. She is a get that, two-time cancer survivor, a mother, and she's also the founder and CEO of A Time Well Spent. She's a personal, uplifting life coach. So I'm not going to speak too much right now. I'm going to let her share her story. So get the tissues ready, maybe, because she has a very powerful, moving story about really the epitome of persistence. So without further ado, here's Miss Linda Brooks Johnson. Let's level up. Hey, Time to Shine squad. It's Scott Ferguson with our podcast I am so excited, with Miss Linda Brooks Johnson. Miss Johnson lives in Atlanta, Georgia. She's a 21-year, two-time breast cancer survivor, which we're going to dig into that. She's a certified professional life coach and spiritual motivational speaker. She specializes in coaching breast cancer, people that are going through breast cancer or survive breast cancer, marriage and spiritual coaching, and she's a huge breast cancer advocate. So, Miss Johnson, welcome to the show, and please share with us your favorite color and why.
Wow. My favorite color would be pink.
I think I know why on that one.
Well, you know what? It was pink even before the
Nice.
breast cancer journey.
Okay.
Pink was symbolic to girly for me.
Okay.
Growing up, pink just was always a color that I seemed to favor.
I love it. I wear pink. People. I do. It's in my color wheel.
Yes,
You
yes.
know. So tell me a little bit how. Let's start from the nuts and bolts, because I just lost my mom, which my squad knows,
Oh,
in
I'm sorry to hear that.
September from breast cancer. It was a little
Oh,
bit more
wow.
self-inflicted. I love my mother. I miss her dearly, but it was more of a lung cancer from smoking and
Mm.
metastasized to her brain. But tell me something, like, you're the first real person that's a two-time survivor that I've ever really interviewed. And
Okay.
tell me what your feelings were when you were diagnosed. If
Wow. You know
you're
what,
okay with
Scott? It was it was like a bullet, never been shot, but I can only imagine what that felt like. I had just had my son, who's now almost 22,
it.
but I had just had him. Prior to that, had gone through a long career journey with IBM that ended. My ex-husband walked out. I was going through a number of things, and then to get the breast cancer diagnosis.
Oh my
And,
gosh.
I think, I've got this saying that I have come to really, really love, because it's a testament of what we go through. And it's, God never brings us to something that He won't bring us through it. But more importantly, our greatest blessings is our greatest tragedies or greatest trials. It seems
Wow.
to breed things out of us that we didn't even know existed.
Wow.
So for me, it was a devastating time, but as I look back and reflect back on it now, it was the most profound time in my life to show me what my faith was truly about, and to also find out where my strength lied.
Wow. So you had your faith and then strength.
Mm-hmm.
Were you said it was a bullet. Were you scared?
You know what, Scott? This is the most remarkable thing that I remember from that particular situation. The day that I went to get the diagnosis, I had both kids in a double stroller, and they were playing like, oh my God, like they were just the happiest campers it was. And then two doctors came into the room. And for the first time in my life, I can really say I had an out of body experience. I
Really?
didn't hear them, but I saw their mouths moving.
Wow.
And when everything was done, it was this presence that grabbed me to make me feel so warm and secure. And I knew that was God. It was
Yeah.
just Him showing me that everything was going to be all right.
Wow. So you were working, were you done with IBM at the time of your diagnosis, or were you still with them, or how did that
I
work?
had been laid off from them for about a year after 29 years.
Okay. And then you were going through your cancer and battling cancer.
Mhm.
Did the life coaching come then, or was that a little bit down the line?
Oh, that was down the line. It was when I left IBM. I wanted to find out really what my purpose was. It's like I had this thirsting and longing to find out, okay, that was something I did. That's over. What can I really do now to give back? And that was about a 3-year journey of God just really dealing with me and showing me that I had always been doing life coaching, but just never knew it. And at that time, I began to take some courses, get certified, and then let Him lead me into where I am now. And that's how that really, it was already birthed. I just had to realize that I had already delivered the baby.
That was a huge aha moment then for that. You said
Yes,
there's about a 3-year process in there.
yes,
Did I hear that
yes.
right? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's set the cancer to the side. I don't
Hmm.
want to downplay it at all, okay?
Okay.
But let's just set it to the side. And going through the growth of your life coaching and during this time, what was the worst growth moment to get to where you're at now? Because I'm looking online right here and where you're speaking about transforming marriages and stuff
Hmm.
like that. Like, what was it like? What's your worst heart? Because we got your aha and we know how
Hmm.
you got there, but tell me about tell us a story about like a bad moment that's kind of held you back. And I understand God's got you, and I'm a man of faith, and I
Hmm.
100% agree with that. But we're
Hmm.
human, so we're gonna have our bad moments.
Definitely.
So
Yes.
so
I think the
tell us a story,
biggest, I think the biggest fear for me, if I can use that word,
please.
was not was transparency is something that we have to be.
True.
And I think for me, there was a time until I got to where I needed to be that I was afraid of letting anyone know that, where I'd been, because I looked at it in some sense with the marriage, I looked at it as a failure. Um, the job thing, I looked at it as a failure. And I was going through that period of, am I really good enough to be a life coach?
You're doubting
Why should
yourself.
I be? Because my life was turned upside down at that time. And I was going back, self reflecting. And to me, it was like I thought you had to be perfect in order to, coach anybody, counsel anybody. But you know what? I think, and I now understand that we can't be effective in anything until we've experienced it.
That's great because you even said earlier like your greatest blessings come from your greatest trials, right? So
Exactly.
you push through that time, then that's excellent. So let me ask you something. You have some experience now. What do you think makes a great coach then?
A person that will listen and a person that can be empathetic in a way that you don't pressure or make someone feel inferior. We have to be in a position to where not only are we a listener, but we're learning from the experiences that we are privy to have. And I
Love it.
think that's what I don't coach anything that I've not gone through because I want to have that sensitivity and I want to have the compassion. I want to even feel what my clients are feeling.
The empathy, right? That
Hmm.
they have. Wow. That's strong. So may I ask how you're dealing in helping people that have
Hmm.
went through traumatic experiences? A lot of people that come to me are like, Scott, I want to level up my life and I want you to help me take to the next level.
Hmm.
How do people approach you?
Well, really, most of everything that I've done thus far has been word of mouth. Or people that know me come into contact with people that are going through different things. And I get a lot of phone calls and emails about, hey, would you be interested in coaching this? Would you be interested in coaching that? So really, I've been really blessed that people have sought me out.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's got to be like whether it's an email, that's a lot of tears on the keyboard coming from them reaching out, right? I mean, or even the phone calls
Yeah,
got to be just heart-wrenching sometimes where you hear, but again, you can be empathetic because you've been
right,
exactly where you're at.
exactly.
So with all this experience, Miss Linda, what would you tell the 20-year-old Linda?
Mm. Uh, I think I'd start out telling her, please be patient. Please open up yourself more to not judging yourself so hard, because that's really a thing. I think I judge me a lot more heavily than someone else.
Gotcha. I love that. So be patient and don't judge. That's
Right.
amazing. That's something that a 20-year-old's not going to listen to you, but it's always nice to write that letter back to our younger self.
Yes.
You know, is there what in life has you went through the major instances, but what in life has really blown your mind? You know, like you've went through the rough part, but what is it out there? I know you might answer with something of faith, and I'll be right there with you. But what's really blown your mind?
Well, you know what, Scott? And it's funny you should ask that because I think about this every day. I was told that I'd never have children, and I've got two. And I
Wow,
think my world turned upside down when I gave birth to my daughter. That was my first child. And seeing her look at me and know my voice and, oh God, the look of love that was in her eyes.
wow.
That, I think the birth of my kids have been the most, oh God,
Knowing that
I
you would
can't
lay
even,
down your life literally
yes,
for them, right?
yes, yes.
Wow, wow. So let's take your cell phone totally out of this question, okay? But what are three things that you can't live without? And let's make that three nouns, people, place, or things that you
Okay.
cannot live without.
Can't live without God.
Very good.
Can't live without, see, that's my chocolate.
I love it.
Um,
You're honest. I love this. I love it.
yeah, chocolate and place. Oh God,
Now you can
oh,
name
I've got
another
so many.
person. You can name anything that's a noun. You know, a person, place, or a thing. Three things you
Okay,
can't live without.
God, chocolate, and my kids.
Love it. Love it. Family.
Yeah,
Put your family first.
yeah.
That's fantastic. What is your definition of a life well lived?
One that you've given back, and one that after you're gone, those fruits, well, those flowers blossom.
I love it. You know, my mentor used to say that you become a mentor and help as many people as you can. And
Hmm.
that builds up your immortality.
Exactly.
You know, so help and give. I love that. I love your
Hmm.
answers. Okay, we're going to go into our leveling up
Okay.
lightning round. There's 5 or
Hmm.
6 questions,
Okay.
and you and I could speak for 20, 30 minutes on each one of them, but I'm going to give you 5 to 7, 10 seconds max. All right?
Yeah.
You
Okay.
ready?
Hmm.
Awesome. What's the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Um. Oh God. I guess it's been, don't try to overdo it or overthink anything that I've done.
Love it. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Listening.
Beautiful. Other than your own website and Time to Shine Today website, of course, can you give us another internet resource that you like to go to help level up your life?
I go to Facebook a lot, believe it or
Beautiful.
not.
Beautiful. Other than the big, great book, the Bible,
Hmm.
can you recommend to another book that we should run out and grab and make sure we read it?
There's one that I've got right here, as a matter of fact. Um, I love this one. In the Shadows of His Wings.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Very good.
that's
Who's that
been,
by, Linda?
It is, God, it doesn't have a name on it. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. They're going to make me dig for this one.
No, you're fine.
It looks like it's by Lewis Emerton.
Lewis Emerton? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Gotcha. What's your favorite charity that you like to work with or give to?
I've been working with quite a few. Really, Susan Coleman is one that I work with.
Love it. And last question, what is the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
Oh, 70s.
I'm right there with you. We can hang out. You got the classic rock and the disco, and you got it all in one. I mean, and it was when it's at its infancy. I love that time. I love
After the 70s, it's over.
So before we kind of wind things down, can you share with the Time to Shine squad out there that's listening one last knowledge nugget that you want us to walk away with?
Always remember that everybody needs somebody. We're not here to try to get it on our own. Please use people and resources to help you get to that level that you want to be. The roadblocks are there to kind of make you look at and reevaluate your journey. Excellent. So if I could say anything, please reach out. And when you run into those pitfalls,
love it.
Reach out for some help.
That's right. Everyone needs somebody, and there's no reason to be alone when there is help there. You just have to be bold enough to ask. And so if I'm out talking to people or someone starts talking to me, what would trigger me to think of Linda Brooks Johnson, that this person would be a good prospect or possible client or a referral?
Hopefully, if you're looking for honesty and some compassion and really someone that will listen and help you navigate the troubled waters, hopefully you'll think of me.
I love it. And how can we find you online?
You can find me on LinkedIn, at Facebook. Everything is under A Time Well Spent.
A Time Well Spent.
Mm-hmm. Right. A Time Well Spent on most of the social media sites. On LinkedIn, it's under Coach Linda Brooks Johnson.
I love that's how we connected. I believe I reached out, read your story, and I was like, I have to have Miss Johnson on here.
Oh, well, you know what? I thank you and I appreciate you so much.
It's me that be thanking you. And hey, squad, I hope that you've really enjoyed and picked up some knowledge nuggets. If you want to think about perseverance and what someone has to go through of having a newborn, husband walking out, and then get slammed with that stupid C word, you're re-listen to this podcast because there's knowledge nuggets that's everywhere. From what I really picked up is the greatest blessings kind of are bred from the greatest trials. And, when we surround ourselves with people like Miss Johnson, who are always leveling up their health and leveling up their wealth, she stays humble, yet she stays hungry and eager to help people. That's the kind of people we like to be around. And Miss Johnson, thank you so much. I'm humbled and I'm grateful that you've taken this time out of your valuable day. Okay. So I can get a virtual fist pump for the video. Love it. Thank you so much, Miss Johnson. Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today podcast. Proudly brought to you by Sutter and Nugent Real Estate Excellence, who can be reached at 561-249-7266 and online at www.sutterandnugent.com. If you are a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on Time to Shine Today, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope that you will support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's our time to shine.